Good evening. Welcome to Eretz Israel. I'm Avram Shir. We're looking at Torah 78 in Likutei Moharan, and we have a very fascinating idea. V'yeten oz l'malko. God gives boldness to his king. V'yaren keren yemeshicho. And he lifts up the horn of his anointed. Now this is Shmuel Aleph, the book of Samuel, the first book, and it is the prophet speaking about the king's relationship to God. Boldness to his king. You got to be bold to be a king, right? That's not too hard. What does it mean to lift up the horn? You know, the horns, well, you know what horns are, right? They grow on the heads of animals. But there used to be a shofar that was used to announce the new month. It was used to announce the arrival of people to a city, the arrival of the enemy, for that matter. It was used to announce the new year. So you see, it's an instrument of communication. He would lift up the tool, the device of communication of his anointed. There is something of the Messiah here. V'ruach HaKodesh, divine inspiration, the Holy Spirit that you pick up off the air. That's why it's related to Ruach, spirit, which is also the wind. V'yichud kutsha b'richu shchinte, and the unification of God's eternal, infinite, transcendent, far-away nature, if you will, and his immanent, intimate, personal, feminine aspect. The unification of those two things is the goal of the entire creation. Not that God isn't already one, but we need to be able to see it and live it and to experience it. Utichia, and the revival of the dead is also one verse, 6 words. And Rabbi Nachman is teaching us all these concepts are woven into this idea. 6 words, and we just sewed up the entire universe. How does he do this? Well, that's going to be the journey of this Torah. And it's going to take us, let's look a little ahead. Oh, it's not so long. 3 or 4 columns. Ki techilat habri'ah haya kedei shitgale midat malchuto. As we learned in yesterday's Torah, the theme gets transferred onto the next Torah. In the beginning of the creation, the purpose was to create that there is a king. But because of the greatness of his light, the collective power of God's light, it was impossible to receive the light. It was too great. And it was necessary for God to concentrate himself into the worlds, into boundaries, to take this infinite light that knows no boundary. God had to constrict himself into the worlds of boundaries in order that we could receive that there is a king. That God, your kingship is the kingship of all worlds. Don't make distinctions in God's kingship. It's not absent, it's just hidden in all places. That this quality called kingship, the power of communication is kingship. the power of expression, the power of taking upper lights and making them accessible and available to lower beings is all part of being a king. And that's where we need that light, is in the worlds where we can grasp them. Now, always remember the Baal Shem Tov's definition of worlds. It's something that has time, it has place, and it has intentionality. That's a very simple definition. It doesn't mean a 6,000 mile diameter planet. It doesn't mean the moon up there, this flying rock. It means a moment of time and space and intentionality. That's already the beginning of definition. Space, presence, and purpose. Those are the three definitions of a world. God wanted to enter those definitions because then we could receive it, receive Him. In order that we can receive, and there was nobody in the beginning that could receive the yoke, right? That strange instrument that goes on the neck of a big ox, and it's a heavy yoke to carry. Maybe even for an ox who weighs, say, 4,000 pounds, if he's really a big guy, This yoke of his kingship, it's a heavy thing to pick up this idea, carry it around all day in your head, that you got a king over your shoulder. So God brought forth the souls of Israel in a conceptual nature first, because their very presence was to carry this this yoke, this idea that there is a king in all the worlds. Because there is no king without a nation to call him king. Like these people that they say, I met these people, they'll tell you that they're king. Either they're King David or the Messiah or another king from history, or maybe they invent their own kingship. But there's nobody else following them. So you start to wonder, what's going on? People so badly want recognition and honor that they'll create themselves as a king. I think it's better to go with the prince, You're the son of the king. It's a little simpler to bear. And where do the souls of Israel come from? The world of speech. Now, conceptually speaking, there are many nations, and each has quality of its own. And no two are exactly alike. Of course, they have parallel powers, but the Jewish people, their special quality is speech. Now, do you wonder why there's so many Jews involved in communications, politics, Hollywood, teaching, law? These are all professions that you need to be pretty good with your speech. lm78. And this is the idea of that King Solomon said, Nafshi yatsa b'dabro, my soul went out in his speech, meaning the Torah. That when you speak Torah, your soul is coming out, but you're injecting your speech into his words. That's causing a unification of the creator and the created. As we said, the souls that come out from the world of speech. And speech is an aspect of the king. Because the king, he doesn't really have to do anything except sit on the throne and tell people what to do. But he needs to do it, obviously, in a very proper fashion. But that's the ultimate expression of speech, is causing things to happen. That's what God does every moment. He speaks the reality into existence. And we attach ourselves to his speech, then we become part of that reality creating existence flowing out of every person. And this is the job of the Jewish people. And this is why we receive the Torah. And all of this is to reveal that there's a king, and we can walk with him and bear the weight of the idea. So we're going to go on with this Torah as this wonderful week unfolds. And we look forward to seeing you again. And when you're walking around and you think about the idea of God and it seems kind of heavy, right? Remember that it's only heavy as you allow it to be. We get to shape our expression and relationship with the Creator. Think about the type of God that you want to serve. You might be surprised. Have a great day.